everyone, thank you so much for tuning in today. I am Ashley from ashleyempowers.com, and I wanted to do a message on the 6 things that I have learned being married these past 6 years. So my husband and I recently celebrated our 6-year marriage wedding anniversary, and I just wanted to share a few things that I've learned along the way. So the first thing that I have learned is the beauty of building together. When my husband and I first got married, he was an undergrad, I was in graduate school. He was living at home with his mom. I had an apartment, and he really didn't have 2 dimes to rub together. And not that I was Big Bank Hank, but what I've learned over the years is the beauty of us building together. The fact that he still lived at home and was working part-time and finishing college, it didn't prevent me from marrying him. I literally had the mindset like, let's build this empire together. And the past 6 years of us being married, the amount of things that we've build, from businesses to homes to ministry to so many things, has been absolutely incredible. So when you're on your journey, just have a builder's mindset. And in the book of Amos, chapter 3, verse 3, it says, how can 2 people walk together if they don't agree? And something that has really helped us in our marriage is being in agreement. A lot of people don't create things in their marriage because they're not in agreement. So you have to make agreeing a priority in your marriage, agreeing on the vision for your family, the vision for your lifestyle. You want to make sure you're in agreement, because when you're in agreement, you're able to build and it's fun. The second thing that I will mention is alone time with each other. It's an investment and not a luxury. So when we celebrated our 6-year anniversary, we had a beautiful staycation without the kids. And that's something that we've really been prioritizing, is each other, because when the responsibility of life and marriage and children are a factor, it can take away the one-on-one time together. And a lot of people won't make an investment to pulling away as a couple because they feel obligated to all these different things. But our mindset is our alone time together is not a luxury. We are literally investing in our relationship, and we are investing in our marriage. So it's important, especially if you have a lot of children, to make sure that you, one, have some people that you trust with your children, and 2, don't feel guilty or afraid to ask for help when you need it. I literally know moms who don't trust their kids with anybody, so they're with them 24/7, and that's really not healthy. Like, you need some time alone as a mom, and you need some time alone as a couple to invest in your marriage. So make investing in your marriage a priority. It has really, really worked for us, and it has strengthened our marriage. The third thing that I will say is to have a prayer life. This is one of the important things that I've learned on our journey. My husband and I, we pray together, we fast together, and we've literally seen just mountains be moved through our prayer and our fasting. And it's funny because when we first got married, we were the couple that were doing devotionals every night. We were praying together multiple times a day. And now, being married 6 years, there have been times where our prayer life has ebbed and flowed. But it's so important that you are intentional in making sure that you have a strong prayer life, because that's not something people ask you, right? Like, how are you and your husband's prayer life? How often are you guys praying together? That's something that you have to be accountable to each other for. And there are times where it'll be so late and we're we can just go to sleep. And sometimes we do just go to sleep. But one thing that I learned is that we have to be intentional, because I believe the enemy tries to drift couples into getting used to not praying together. But it is so important that you have a prayer life and that you make it a priority. The fourth thing that I will mention is your mindset. Your mindset will have a 100% effect on the quality of your marriage. If you are someone who is negative, if you are someone who is disrespectful, if you are someone who has no hope and always believes the worst, those things are going to manifest within your marriage. So I think it's important that you have a positive mindset. And I know it sounds so cliche, but I'm telling you, my house is filled with love and joy and peace because I keep it positive around here. We speak life around here. And that's not to say we don't have our bad days or our down days, because both of us have. But for the most part, we understand that your mindset has so much power, because what you think about your marriage, what you think about your spouse, it will determine your actions and how you behave around that person. So I'm very intentional about expressing my gratitude towards my husband, and also just thanking God for our marriage, because I don't ever want to get in a place where I'm taking it for granted. And people that struggle in their marriage, a lot of times it's because they're taking their spouse and their marriage for granted. And one thing that I know for sure is that life is short and anything can happen at any given moment. And I want to be able to say that I enjoyed my marriage. I want to be able to say that I treated my husband with respect and kindness, and making sure that you have the right mindset will really help you with that. So number 5, so the 5th thing that I've learned is not forsaking let's call it like the ministry of intimacy or sex. So having an intimate relationship with your spouse should be your top priority. Okay. Like, let's just be real. And the more you have it, the more it'll be a habit. So if you go a week without being intimate with your spouse, you'll start to get used to not being intimate with your spouse. So I'm saying, like, don't let more than like 2 or 3 days go by of intimacy so you don't get stuck in this cycle of not being intimate, because that's another way the enemy comes in to kill, steal, and destroy your marriage. Is he starts taking away the desire for intimacy from the woman or the male. But just like anything, the more you do something, the more it'll become a habit. And you want your sex life to be such a habit that if y'all aren't doing it, it's like, hold on, something's missing, something's going on. So do not forsake the ministry of sex. So the 6th and the final thing that I have learned being married these past 6 years is how valuable I am as a wife. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I have literally seen how powerful the woman is in a relationship. So I am the CEO of my home. The Lord gives me wisdom. He gives me discernment. He guides me in regards to specific things. And sometimes it absolutely blows my mind. So he might give me divine nudges that he doesn't give my husband. And I see how God uses the role as a wife to really be a helpmeet. And so something that I've learned is that when God gives me specific revelation regarding certain things that he may not give my husband, to not be judgmental or critical towards my husband, and really look at it as a strength. So I have my specific strengths, my husband has his specific strengths, and they all work in unison to do everything the Lord has called us to do. And so I just have learned, like, man, like the wisdom that the Lord gives me and my role as a mom and a wife and being the CEO of my home, it is so incredibly valuable. And I no longer put expectations on my husband to think like I think, to see and to have vision like I do. Like, he be on his own page, I be on my page, but we're in the same chapter, we're in the same book. And that all goes back to building together and being in agreement together. So those are 6 things that I have learned being married. And I will say, you guys, like, before I got married, I had fear of divorce. I had fear of infidelity. I had all these random fears because of what I've seen in my past and what I saw growing up. And it wasn't until that I surrendered those fears to God and really just prayed about it that I realized that we can have a marriage that is an exact replica of how God designed marriage to look. So thank you so much for tuning in today. I really hope that you got a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of wisdom from watching this. I did also want to let you ladies know that are actually preparing for marriage that my institute, Worthy of the Wait, is currently 50% off. And in the Worthy of the Wait Institute, I literally break down every single thing that I learned in my marriage preparation process. It's literally 4 modules, over 20 sessions with me, a community of like-minded women, a library that's a resource guide to you that's filled and jam-packed with my favorite books, sermons, audiobooks, you name it. Everything is there. And I'm just so honored to be able to offer it at this type of discount at this time, because I know a lot of people have extra time on their hands. And to me, it's like, what better way to use this time than to be pouring into yourself and preparing yourself for a marriage that is a sign and wonder in this world. So if you want more information on the Worthy of the Wait Institute, or to collect your 50% off discount, simply go to worthyofthewait.com. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you next time.